Gajananam bhutaganadisevitam kapita jambopala Umasutam shokavinashakaranam namami Vigneshwara parapankajam Shadananam kumura rakta varanam mahamatim divyamayuravahanam Rudrasya sunam surasanyanatam guham saraham sharanam prapadye Ya kundandu dushara haradavala ya shubra rastra Ya vinavara varamanditakara ya shveta padmasana Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bonaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvina Maditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om Bolo Satguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki. Om Namah Shivaya. All right, so I'm here to present our next speaker, Anita Moorjani. Anita Moorjani is a best-selling author, internationally acclaimed speaker, and one of the world's leading voices on near-death experiences and spiritual transformation. While battling end-stage cancer in Hong Kong, she journeyed beyond this world in a profound NDE that completely rewrote her understanding of life, healing, and consciousness. Her miraculous return and full recovery defied medical explanation and became the foundation for her groundbreaking memoir, Dying to Be Me, which established her as a premier expert in the field. A radiant force of inspiration, Anita travels the globe sharing her wisdom on self-love, fearless living, and the deep interconnectedness of all things. Her teachings invite others to step into their highest potential, embracing their true essence and live with purpose, joy, and authenticity. Let's give a round of applause for Anita Moorjani.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that intro. You know, when I hear that introduction and when I hear the part about the groundbreaking content on near-death experiences, I feel that honor is owed to Raymond Moody, because he's the one that gave the near-death experience context. I wouldn't even have a term for what happened to me if it wasn't for Dr. Raymond Moody. And I'm sure many of you heard him speak last night and this afternoon. So, yeah, I was really disappointed that he couldn't be here in person, because it's really because of him that the near-death experiences have spread and become the phenomena that they are. So, but thank you all for being here and giving me your time again and coming back today for more. So what I thought I'd do is I would start by, in fact, addressing some of the questions that people have been asking me as we have bumped into each other as we go about this beautiful ashram. First of all, did you all sleep well last night? Yes. Have you been enjoying your time here so far? Yes. It's wonderful here, isn't it? The space, the food. Oh my gosh, the food. I could eat this every day. So, before I get into some of the questions I've been asked already, I split my work, what I share, because I feel that what I share or what I've been writing about and talking about is so broad, because there is the aspect of the near-death experience, the part where I talk about what it does for me in terms of beliefs in religion, spirituality, and talking about reincarnation and time on the other side. So there's that whole near-death component, which is huge in and of itself. And then there's the whole healing component, where I understand what took place within me, but I've had to try and put it into words and reverse engineer it so that I can explain it to other people so that it can help them. So that's another whole huge component. And some of the biggest things I learned was one of them was about fear and how it had impacted me. And I spoke to you yesterday about the whole fear bucket, which includes stress, anxiety, this feeling of even competitiveness, needing to get ahead, scarcity. All of that falls into the fear bucket. And I want to reiterate again some of the things we mentioned yesterday, that we can't avoid fear altogether. It's a part of life. It's a part of being here. Life is always going to be a mixed bucket. But the point is, it's about becoming aware of how much of your life's choices are driven by fear. And when you become aware of that, you can start to become aware of, in fact, what is it you actually love? What is your passion? What brings you joy? And you can start making some choices from that perspective. And you can start to say no to some of the things that are causing you stress. So it's about moving more things over to the love and the joy bucket. So transcending fear and talking about how to live that life, that is a whole module in itself. And so much of that is rooted in self-love. And that's a whole other thing that I talk about. So there are all these areas, and I try to touch on all of them briefly while we're here in this short time. I swear I wish I had a couple of full days with you. So, yes, so I will have to come back and do that with all of you. But you must all promise to come. Yes. So a couple of the things that I was asked along the way, the most recent one was this lovely young lady who asked me about animals. And about, well, first of all, animals get to cross over. Their spirit lives on. And the question was more specifically about how many religions believe that there is a sort of a hierarchy, that humans are at the top. And when we reincarnate, maybe because of karma, we reincarnate as a lesser being, like an animal. So I'm going to say something that I hope doesn't offend anybody with strong religious beliefs, but I honestly believe that most animals are more evolved than we are. And because animals don't spend their time creating nuclear weapons to destroy each other. They don't spend their time thinking up wars. They don't spend their time plotting against enemies or finding enemies. They don't do any of that. And when you have your animals in the right environment, they are the most loyal, comforting, loving creatures on the planet. So I don't believe that animals are less evolved. I sometimes question how evolved we are as a race. And I have often said that if there are beings, if there are other planetary beings that are looking out for us, I wish they'd come and take over, because we need an adult in the room. So I think we're ready for it. So I feel that people like yourselves are extremely conscious and awake and aware and are interested in being more evolved and taking the planet forward. And we need more people like you. We really do, all of you. I have been heartened to see and hear that so many of you here have had near-death experiences of your own, which is so beautiful. I think there's a reason why they're happening more and more often, because it's like more and more people are waking up. And also, one of the reasons why there is so much chaos in our world right now, it's actually not as bad a thing as it appears. Because even I laugh about it and say how unevolved we are, and I ask the aliens to come and take over. But it's actually because there are more people that are waking up and seeing through the illusion, shall we say, and they're actually pushing back on things that have been going on for years, for decades. So people are starting to push back, and they're starting to say no more, no more. And that's why we're seeing this chaos. We're seeing the old regime trying to hold on, trying to fight it. So that's not a bad thing. But what the world needs right now is more love, not more fighting, not more wars. It is in desperate need for more love. And so we, in our own way, we can provide that in our own way. The other thing that people, I think a couple of people have asked me about, which is very hard to articulate, it's the concept of time in the other realm. And, you know, the concept of time is something that, again, I use metaphors and analogies because there is no language to describe the other side. As even Raymond Moody has said, it's very hard. Unfortunately, one of the things that the human mind does, or human cultures do, is that when there are no words to describe something, we dismiss it as though that thing is irrelevant, insignificant. But some cultures have words that other cultures don't have. And I'll give you an example. Like the word prana in Hindi, which is chi in Chinese, or ki in Japanese. It's a word. It means life force energy. But in English, there is no word for it. Life force energy is a description. So when there's no word for something in a language, it means that in that culture, it's not something significant. It's not something that people believe in or measure. Now, in Asian cultures, life force energy, chi, prana, it's something that is significant. When someone is sick, you go to see an Ayurvedic doctor, you go see a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. They will talk to you about life force energy. They will talk to you about your prana, your chi, where it's blocked. Let's do acupuncture. Let's see where we can move your energy, your chi. Now, the word energy is really broad. It means it covers so many things. So in English, there is no word. So in Western language, in Western culture, in Western medicine, it's not significant. And if you try to tell your Western doctor that, oh, it's my chi that's blocked, they'll say, what? They'll say, come back down to earth, get real, you're not being realistic. So it's interesting that when we don't have words for something, it becomes dismissed as insignificant. And this is what happens with, many of the things that are very real for us, for the person who's experienced it, but when they don't have the words to express it. Yesterday, I gave you the analogy or the metaphor of having your eyes closed for your entire life. And if you had your eyes closed, you would have no language for colors. There'd be no language for blue, green, red. You would have no language for sky. There would be so many things that you would have no language for. And so imagine if somebody had opened their eyes and they were able to see, and they said, oh, you're going to bump into something, and you're like, wow, how did you know? And then they start trying to describe what they are experiencing. If they say, there's this other sense, like I'm experiencing something, they won't know how to explain it. There won't even be a word for see. I can see something. That won't exist. But it's like I can perceive something. And I'm perceiving, how would they even explain it to all these people, a world of people that have never opened their eyes? And imagine if little children, for example, were opening their eyes and they were telling their parents and their teacher, there's something there, yes, it's there, why can't you perceive it? They will be told, oh, that's your imagination. That's your imagination. And stop doing that. It'll distract you from the real world. The real world being the four-sensory world that you are being forced to live in. This is how it is for us, as I mentioned. You are actually multi-sensory beings. Those of you I mentioned that have pets, you know your pets are very highly sensitive. If you are parents and you have children, if you have babies, when they were babies and children, they were highly intuitive. They knew when their parents walked into the room. They knew what their parents were feeling. When we are out of our bodies, we can feel what everyone else is feeling. And that's what it felt to me when I was out of my body. I could feel what all the doctors were feeling, what my husband was feeling. I could feel my mom, who was distraught. And I could tell she was feeling that she would rather it was her dying than me. And I could feel that. And going back to the topic of time, how time is perceived, the best analogy I can think of, because again, analogies are the only way, is if you can imagine, let's say, an apartment building. And the apartment building has, let's say, 7 stories. And you are in one of the stories, one of the floors, and you are walking up and down your apartment in one of the floors, and you believe that this is all that exists. You can walk from end to end, and you have this apartment, and you are conscious and aware of your surroundings. But on every floor, there's a person who believes that that's all there is. Now imagine, for the first time, you come out of this building and you become aware that, oh wow, I was inside a building where all these apartments were simultaneously. And imagine if you realize that whole building is actually your soul, or the series of all your lives. Because when I was in that realm, I was aware of multiple lives I had lived, but they weren't sequential. It was like I was accessing the lives that were relevant to this current life. It was giving me the information I needed for this current life. And so I wasn't overloaded with all the information of all the different lives, but the access I had to each life felt like they were equally powerful. It wasn't like, oh, this was definitely 1 lifetime ago. That was definitely 3 lifetimes ago. It wasn't like that. It was like, oh, these are all the lives I've lived. And I'm being shown the information I need to help me for this lifetime, like information to show Danny and we agreed to come here together. We had a purpose. Oh, my brother, in a previous life, my brother was my younger brother, and I helped to take care of him because my parents were working on the fields all day, every day. And in this life, he's actually my older brother. And so there was this awareness. Now I'm dying. He's flying across the continent to see me. I can't disappoint him. I can't let him down and be already dead when he comes. So there was a feeling of protectiveness because I'd spent a lifetime protecting him. And so there were all these things that related to my current situation. But all the lifetimes that they were coming from, they seemed to be running simultaneously, not sequentially. But when we come back here, we put things into a sequential pattern to make it easier for us to relay it and also to understand it. Our brain seems to do that. So the only way that I sometimes can explain it, it's like I'm living on 7 apartments at the same time. And I have no idea, like if my awareness is on one of them, I have no idea there are 6 more of me on the other apartments. But when I'm outside of my body, then it's like, wow, that whole apartment building is me. It's my soul. It's all the lifetimes together collectively make my entire experience. It felt like every lifetime adds to my soul's experience. Each lifetime contributed. Karma felt different. So I grew up in the Hindu culture where I learned about karma and reincarnation. And so the reincarnation felt different. It felt simultaneous as opposed to sequential. Karma felt different. The way I had learned about karma was very, I guess, very basic. It was more like, if you do negative things in this life, it'll get done back to you in your next life. What I realized was it's more like what you do, what you sow, as you sow, that's what you reap. It's true. It's true, but it's more nuanced than what I had believed. For example, when I was dying from cancer, and I felt like I was trying everything possible, and nothing was helping. And now remember, I said I got sick because I was so repressed, oppressed, doormat, people pleaser. I had no self-worth. I would put everyone before me because I didn't think I was worthy, and I was socialized to always be of service to other people, even when I was sick. So now here I was dying of cancer, doing everything right in terms of food and diet and everything possible, supplements, all of it. And people were still saying to me, oh, perhaps it's your karma. Maybe you need to do more good service. So now imagine someone who's already so depleted, and they would say, it doesn't hurt to do more good service. You know, take your services out to the poor, to the charity, donate. So there I was doing more good service, and it took death for me to realize that I needed the opposite message. I needed to be told, no, you're worthy, you're deserving, go take care of yourself. Self-care, for you, self-care is the most important thing. So this is why I feel sometimes it's important for people to hear that side of the message, because there are so many of you here, particularly at an event like this, who are high empaths, who are highly sensitive, who are highly service-oriented. And people like yourselves, people who are service-oriented, you are service-oriented because that's who you are, that's your nature. You can't change that. For you, being of service is like breathing. Serving other people is what gives you life, it uplifts you. However, your struggle, and this is very important, your struggle is in self-care. And this is what you need to learn and do, because the world needs you, so you need to actually spend more of your effort and energy on self-care. Because what are you going to do with that extra energy? You're going to use it to serve other people and the planet. So the world really needs people who are highly service-oriented to be more focused on taking care of themselves, because that is actually the harder challenge for them. Does that make sense to you? So hence I wrote my book, Sensitive is the New Strong, for that reason. So when people talk about a life review, many NDEs speak about a life review and how it changed them because they saw their life in review and saw how where they had hurt other people, they felt how those people felt. I had the opposite. What I got was my entire life where I had hurt myself, where I had let myself down, where I had second-guessed myself, where I had forsaken myself, and also where other people had hurt me and where I had never stood up for myself, thinking I was being the good person, and allowed myself to get to that point. And that's what I saw in my tapestry, my life review. So look back on your life and remember, every person is different. We're all individuals. Your own life review won't be the same as everyone else's. And also, when it comes to teachings from teachers, and when people tell you to do good service or take good care of yourself, different things apply to different people. I usually take it one step further, which I did in my book, Sensitive is the New Strong, where I actually went on to say that having messages, beautiful spiritual messages, that we all have to be of service, we have to take care of other people, we have to serve the planet, serve other people. Those are fabulous messages. However, it seems that the people who are most attracted to spiritual messages are the ones who are already doing that. They're the ones that don't know how to take care of myself. And the people who need to hear it the most, they're not attracted to listening to spiritual teachers. So those messages are falling onto the wrong people. And that's what, so I spend a lot of time sharing that, because the world needs you. The world needs people for whom being useful, being productive, being of service is like breathing. People like yourselves, when you start taking care of yourself, it will feel selfish at first. Break through that. It's important because the world needs you. And as I mentioned also yesterday, it wasn't the cancer that healed me from being a people pleaser. It was death. So when I was not ill yet, my best friend, she had cancer. She had a very aggressive form of a sarcoma. And when she got the diagnosis, to me, it felt like it had happened to me because she was that close. She was like a sister to me. We had grown up together. She had 2 small children. And I made this vow that I would be there by her through her journey, and I would help her. So I was there with her for hospital visits, driving her kids to their doctor appointments or their activities. I literally put my life on hold because she was sick. If I went out with our friends, we had mutual friends, and she was not able to come because either she was in hospital having surgery or treatment or recovering, if I went out, I would feel guilty. I would not be able to go out. I would spend my time with her in the hospital. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even go shopping and buy clothes without feeling guilty, because the doctors had given her a very slim chance of recovery. And I felt, who am I to go shopping for clothes when my best friend is dying? I need to spend this time with her. So I literally put my life on hold, and I stopped taking care of myself. I wasn't eating healthy food. I was rushing. I was living on her schedule and the schedule of her family and her kids. And I was getting depleted and drained. But I kept thinking, who am I to complain? She's the one who's dying. And then one day, I felt a lump here on my neck. And I went to the doctor to get it checked out. And I had a biopsy. First they did an ultrasound, then they did a biopsy, and then they confirmed it was lymphoma. And they did the scan, and they said it had spread. It was stage 2 already. Now, a huge part of me was in shock and fear that I had cancer as well. But there was a part of me that went, oh, now I have a reason to take care of myself. So I don't want anyone to believe that you need a reason to take care of yourself. You don't need a reason. You have to take care of yourself, love yourself like your life depends on it. Because the world does count on people like yourselves. Not to put any pressure on you. But yeah, right now you're all taking care of yourselves by being here in this ashram and getting fed beautiful food. So something a lot of people ask me is that, did it feel like a dream being in the near-death experience. Actually, no. It felt like I woke up from this. It felt like an illusion. I know it's persistent. I know it's actually, it can even be an insensitive thing to say when somebody is suffering, that, oh, this is just an illusion. I would never say that to somebody directly who is suffering because it doesn't feel like an illusion. However, when you are out of your body, when you are on the other side, this physical world doesn't feel real. That feels real. And so even as time passes, no matter how much time passes, it doesn't fade, because once you've seen through it, it's like you can't unsee it. You can't undo it. And I want to clarify something here, though. Even though I've had an NDE, and many of you here have had NDEs, it doesn't mean we stop suffering or bad things stop happening to us. It doesn't, even though I see my body differently from, say, most other people, but not everybody, of course. It doesn't mean that I don't suffer from symptoms or that my body doesn't break down sometimes. And so it just means I probably use different tools. But still, my body is still capable of breaking down. I'm still capable. I have fallen a couple of times and hurt my knees, I've had things happen to me. We all do. You can't escape that. So I just want to make it clear that even whether we've had an NDE, whether we've had a spiritual experience, whatever we've had, we're still human. As long as we're here in this physical body, we are still human. We are still prone to experience suffering. It doesn't go away. So that's something I really want to make clear as well. It's part of life. But life just ends up having a little more meaning, and maybe you have a few more tools to take care of, to alleviate the suffering. And these tools, you don't have to nearly die to get them. You can learn them. In fact, sometimes I feel I probably wasn't that smart that I had to get all the way to death to figure it out. Like all of you here, you're figuring it out now. That's good. You still have a lot of life to live. So one of the biggest things I learned also is that running around trying to fix the world doesn't work. It actually creates a more frenetic energy within yourself. It disrupts other people. But when we actually just shift within ourselves, that works best. Now, the number of people that say to me, I don't have time for self-care. And we've had a couple of people say that to me yesterday as well. I don't have time to take care of myself or to do things that make me feel joyful. And they're struggling with their life. Whatever it is they're struggling with, they're struggling. And whatever they're struggling with is depleting their energy and making them struggle, whatever, with financially, relationship. And they said, but I don't have time. Here's the thing. When I say, okay, what if you made time? What if you did something? And they'll say, no, if I quit my job, it'll kill me. I won't have the money to pay the bills. If you are constantly depleting your energy and you go into, as I said, energy deficit over a period of time, you're killing yourself anyway. So a question that I was asked is that after my NDE, have we experienced struggling financially and being broke? Absolutely, we did. And when I came back from the NDE, I mentioned to you that Danny had lost his job because he spent all his time taking care of me. And I hadn't worked for a few years because I had been sick. I hadn't worked for a couple of years at least. When I first got diagnosed, I was still working, but then I got too sick to work. So we were both not working, and we were depleting our savings, just paying our bills. And we lived in a beautiful apartment at that time because the apartment we got when the two of us were working. We were two incomes, no kids, lived in a beautiful apartment. But now here we were, no income, living in a very beautiful apartment, and we were depleting all our savings, just paying for that. When I was well enough, we had to figure out what we wanted to do with the rest of our lives. And we started to prioritize. And one of the first things we did was we let go of that beautiful apartment and downsized and lived in a small place. And the other thing we did is we moved away from the community that I was in. So now you imagine if you are two incomes, no kids, beautiful apartment, you're in a particular community of people. We used to go out and have dinner and have vacations away together with our friends. We couldn't be in that community anymore. First of all, it wasn't a priority for us. I had discovered that I need to get to know who I am. And that's something anybody can do at any stage. You don't need to die to do this. It's about figuring out who you are. And later, I'll get to how important it is to know get to know who your soul is and so on. But it's about figuring out who you are. And we didn't want to be encumbered, or we didn't want to be part of that stress and pressure of keeping up with our friends. So we moved. Now, all our friends, the community we were in, was a community that was, I would say, what connected them was, to a certain level, was the finances they had, because they were doing the same things. They were all at the same level. We could no longer do those things. But we didn't care. I had my health back. I knew that we were going to be fine no matter what. So we moved to this little place in a little village quite a distance away. And here's what I loved about moving there. Nobody knew me. I could have a fresh start, and I didn't have to be the person I used to be. When you come back after an NDE, and those of you who've had NDEs will relate to this, you change. You can't be that person you used to be. And in my case, that person I used to be was the person who got cancer. If I went back to being that person, I would get cancer and I would die. So my only option was now I had to do what I learned, which is to be myself, which is to love myself and realize that it's really important that I do have value. My life has meaning and value, and I just have to find out who I am. And so it's kind of like if you imagine somebody who is maybe an alcoholic or somebody who suffers from substance abuse, and they go into rehabilitation, and after they are rehabilitated and they feel great, and they now know that they don't need to rely on that substance anymore, and when they're complete and they feel ready to go back into society, they're usually afraid to go back to their old society or their old community, because that was the community that supported the habit in the first place. Their friends were the ones who were from that environment that caused them to be that way, or who supported that lifestyle in the first place. So it was kind of the same feeling, where all the people in my community knew me as that people pleaser, doormat, so I couldn't go back to that community again. So it was great to be in a new environment and start to discover who I am. I didn't tell the people that I had died or almost died from cancer, and people just got to know us from scratch. We started working freelance. I discovered the NDERF website, and I made friends on the website with other NDEers, and we would communicate by Skype. We would communicate on the forum of the NDERF website, and they became my best friends, because otherwise the world outside was very lonely, because I felt nobody understood me. Nobody understood. In fact, when I tried explaining to one of my old friends what had happened and why I didn't feel I could go back to a normal job, I couldn't go back to my old life and my own work, and she said, "Oh, when are you going to come back down to reality?" I know. And then I said, but this is my new reality. And I would try to explain to her that I can't do things anymore that deplete my energy. Don't you see, that's what caused the cancer in the first place. I'm now seeking all the things that my soul, my spirit came here to do. And at some point in the conversation, she actually said that maybe I was being delusional. But here's where the story changes. So that's what she said at that point. But then I had moved away. I followed my path. I started writing because I found it was just coming out. The writing was just coming and coming. I'd never been an author before. Everything I'd written about my story went viral. Wayne Dyer discovered it, and that's when he put me on the path of writing a book. I really wanted this book to help people heal without having to go through steps. It's like I wanted them to be able to feel healed as they read it, and that was my objective for writing this book. And everything just rolled in such a beautiful way because I was just following this path. And then years later, fast forward 10 years, I'm speaking, I'm traveling, I'm talking to people, helping people. That same friend, 10 years later, she reaches out and she says, oh my God, I'm watching you from a distance on social media and I get your newsletter. What you're doing is amazing. You're helping so many people. But you've forgotten me, your friends back home. I wish you'd help me. My life really, really sucks. My finances suck. My relationships suck. Why don't you help people like me? And I literally had to bite my tongue not to say, I guess you have to be delusional. And that's the thing. The three-dimensional materialist world we live in doesn't see things this way. And that is the biggest challenge that you would face if you really awaken to this, which many of you are. And I know you're nodding, many of you already face this challenge, right? So, yes. Let's talk a little bit about healing. Most people think that healing is just a physical experience, like even illness, we think of it as something that's purely physical. It isn't purely physical, unless it's something like maybe you fell, but even falling could be a wake-up call. But let's just take it as the real chronic illnesses like most cancers, heart diseases, things like that. These usually have a spiritual, mystical root to them. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Does anybody here in this room, is anyone dealing with like a physical illness or a cancer or have dealt with it or are fearful of it in some way? Raise your hand high so I can just see how many. Okay, there's a few. There's not a whole lot, but there's a few. So I'll go through these fairly quickly. And we tend to focus on the illness, and I mentioned this yesterday as well. It's about expanding wellness. So I wish our medical system would take that on board, where they actually teach the medical doctors starting at medical school, where they actually taught everybody that expanding wellness. And I heard today from somebody that they're starting to do that nowadays. They are, right? Yes. So, and I have to say that nurses, I think, are the angels on this earth. I know you are. Nurses need a really good shout out. Nurses, hospice workers, oh my gosh. And every doctor I've met is actually wonderful and kind, but it's just the system of what they learn, the medical school, the medical system. So people need to know, first of all, what does wellness look like? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. What does it feel like? What does it entail? And most doctors don't know that. What most people learn, certainly in the past, in medical school, they learn how to detect illness in the body, and there's certain major illnesses you look for, and if the person doesn't have those illnesses right now, okay, you're well, you're healthy, off you go. But the person might be emotionally, mentally unhealthy, and they may be they may be on the verge of developing something because of where they are emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But none of that, and nor are they taught what's good for their bodies, you know, whether it's exercises, whether it's food, nutrition, nothing. It's purely focused on looking for disease and eradicating disease. So if that could change, that would make me and a lot of people very happy. So I just want to go through a couple of slides that I developed myself. These slides are not based on any outside research. This is me reverse engineering my own understanding of healing from what happened to me, so that I can describe it and explain it to people. And so I'll just go through those, because when I healed, I was in a state, a spiritual state that caused my body to heal. And the reason I do what I do is I want people to get to that state if that is what their soul wants for them. For some people, they might be ready to leave, so that's different. But I want to say that even though it seems to happen, the healing, the physical part happened very quickly, remember I was sick for 4 years. During those 4 years, I went through so many things, so many different ways of seeing, believing, learning, thinking about whether it was about religion, spirituality, my own mortality. So there was a lot that went on as my health deteriorated. So when it clicked, and my body healed. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it the other way, where you could be really sick, and it's like, oh, as you are gaining the clarity, even step by step, you can actually create a healing trajectory from even illnesses that doctors say that, oh, you don't stand a chance. If anybody's going through an illness, I would highly recommend you read a book by Dr. Jeffrey Rediger. He's a friend of mine, but he's written this amazing book called Cured, C-U-R-E-D. If you have a friend who's going through an illness, recommend this to them if they're going through something that doctors have said is terminal. Jeffrey Rediger is a doctor, and he wrote this book about how people have healed even though their doctors said there is no cure for what they are, for their stage of illness. And one of the things that he said, which I found was super interesting, is that when someone heals without the use of modern medicine, it doesn't get written about or recorded. So it does not go into statistics for that disease. So he was, in fact, once at a conference where he asked, it was a medical conference, where he asked the doctors in the room for a raise of their hands if they have seen patients having what they call miraculous healings. In other words, healing without healing after being told that they were terminal. And almost every doctor in the room raised their hand. Then he said, how many of you actually wrote it up in the reports and made a white paper on it? Every hand went down. Now, so Jeffrey Rediger went and interviewed these people, and each of them said, the doctors said it was a spontaneous remission, they can't explain it, nobody wrote up about it, but each of them said, we did, but this is what we did. And there was step by step, and spirituality was a big part of it. The mental, emotional part was a big part of it. That self-care was a huge part of it. So each one went on a trajectory. So this trajectory exists, but just because nobody is actually doing a study on it that is being printed up in papers, we don't know. We think that, oh, these are just anecdotes. It doesn't exist. It's just anecdotal. So that's what, it's important for people who are going through illnesses to know that. So that book is really key in helping you understand that. So in order to reverse engineer my own experience, this is, I came up with this just to help. And so the first of the slides, when I had the near-death experience, I felt as though I left my body and I was in a space that I'm going to call the esoteric space. And so I have actually divided this into 5, where you have the physical, so you have the physical system. And so if we're talking specifically to do with our physical bodies and health and healing, most health and healing systems only focus on the physical system, your physical body. And then a lot of people who are aware that it's something more than the physical, you may go to a naturopath, and they help you to deal with things on the immune system level by giving you supplements and changing your diet, which is great. It's actually really good for your body, and it does help you to feel healthier, but it's still helping you on the physical level. Some people understand that, oh, it's my emotions, so actually let's go here. On the physical level, it's through, I call it the dense system because it's purely physical. On the physical level, you take care through exercise, food, medicines, drugs. And it's important. You need it. It buys you time. So it's not that it's not important, but we're taking care of the denser level. This level, the immune system, I call it the subtle dense. This is the part of you that's not physically visible, but it is to elevate your immune system. It is when you take all the supplements, when you support your body and you take the green juices and things like that. You're supporting your immune system. But even then, you're still only supporting your physical body, which is important, but that's not all it is. What's interesting is that many practitioners believe that that's as far as it needs to go. If you go deeper, you realize that before things get to manifest physically, they actually start in your emotional system, like past traumas, lack of love, a lack of self-worth. All these things, unresolved, unhealed, can trigger things in you, which eventually can lead to blockages in your energy, and it can eventually lead you to feeling drained, and then some physical symptoms in your body. But even before something becomes an emotional trauma, it starts off in the energetic field, where your energy could be having a blockage and it's not flowing. So here you would probably see healers like Reiki healers. You would even see acupuncturists because they get the chi flowing. But there is one system that is overlooked a lot, and practitioners, and most practitioners don't take this into consideration, and this is why I want all of you to be aware of this one. And that is your esoteric system. What does this mean? This is your soul. This is the part of you that chose to come here into this earth. This is the part of you that came with a reason, a purpose. And if you are not giving that part of you an opportunity to shine and express itself, because who you truly are at your core is a spiritual being. And if you don't let that part of you shine through, that is the part that gets buried and blocked. And that is why you then have your energy blockages, and then your past traumas play up. But when you actually do the deep work to discover, why am I here? Who is my soul? What decision did my soul make to come here? That's when things start to become clearer. That is the root. That is really the starting point. That is the part. When you discover that, your life suddenly has meaning. And then everything else you do is just to make it easier for you to fulfill that path and that meaning. Everything you do to clear the trauma, to open up the energy pathways, is for you to fulfill that. Does that make sense to you? So that's the key. And that's the journey I want to take you on today. To greet your own soul, the one that chose to come here. A lot of people ask me about the word God. What do I feel about God? One of the reasons I don't use the word God super often is because, one, God means different things to different people. And number two is because God is much bigger than the word God. And sometimes when you use the word God, here's what I'm afraid of. When I use the word God, it makes God much smaller and less significant than what God is to me. I absolutely believe in God, but God cannot be described in a word. What I don't believe in is in a male being, a person up in somewhere out there, a male being of some kind. That's way too small, way too limited. There's no gender when we are without our bodies. There's only energy, and energy can lean towards masculine, feminine, but there's no biology. There's no need for gender on the other side. That's for reproduction. That's for here. So that's why I rarely use the word God, because in many people it puts the image of a male figure. And I really believe that the divine is neither male nor female. So I tend to use the word divine. But also when we are in touch with the soul level of who we are, that soul level is actually merged with the divine. That is the part of us that is connected to the divine. So I'm just checking the time, and I wanted to ask, how much time do I have? And then I want to take a couple of questions and go into the journey. Do you know what time I have to be out of here? There's no time. Yes. Good. I like you. There's no time. It's all, 3:30. Ooh. Can I go to 3:45? Do you know? Probably not. Okay. The time passes too fast. There's no time, but it goes by so fast when you're having fun. So let's just do a couple of questions and dive into the journey then. Okay? We got one back there.
Hello, Anita. My name's Sherry, and I'm from Toronto. And I didn't actually plan to be here for this event, but life kind of dropped me here, and I'm so grateful to be here with my friend Jane. But I want to ask, I work with youth, I work with children, and I'm curious to know if you have ever, or if you have a version of your story for youth and for children.
I've written 2 children's books.
That's so good to hear.
Yes.
See, I'm just learning all of this. So I look forward.
Right place.
I look forward to exploring those and sharing them.
Thank you. Thanks for asking that. One of them is called Scaredy Caterpillar, which is loosely based on my book Dying to Be Me. It's about a caterpillar who thinks they're going to die, but they actually turn into a butterfly. And the other one is called Love, a story about who you truly are. So they're both available on Amazon. Thank you.
It's a quick question. Can you go back to the graphic when it shows all the different systems?
There.
And then can you tell us more about, how you have the esoteric field at the top, and then at the bottom is cultural field?
Okay.
Can you just expand a little bit more about what that is all about?
Absolutely. Thanks. That's a great question. So the cultural field is this physical world you live in, and everything you learn, everything, I call it your marinade, like you are immersed in this, in your culture, whatever your culture. You were brought up in, maybe you were Christian, Hindu, Jewish. You're brought up in a certain culture. Some people are atheists. You're brought up in a certain country. But it's basically what you were immersed in, and you create a reality based on everything you've absorbed in that. And I call that the dense field because that is physical reality. Everybody has their own version of physical reality depending on the cultural field that you are immersed in. But as we go up and start to get in touch with our energetic field, we start to realize, oh, there's something more than this physical world. And then when you get up to getting in touch with your soul, you realize, wow, we're actually all connected. We are all part of Source. And so you start to feel that it doesn't matter if somebody is Christian or atheist or a Jew or a Hindu. At our root, we all have the same core, the same root. Our beliefs actually are the same. We have more in common than we're different. It doesn't matter if somebody voted left or right or what they voted. When we get to that level, when you die, you realize none of that mattered when we leave our bodies. Does that make more sense to you? Yeah, thank you for that question.
Hello, Anita. Over here. I'm sorry.
Hi.
Oh, you want me to stand up? I'm sorry. So I just was wondering, I know we're all different and things happen to us each all for different reasons, but like children, for instance, I know someone a long time ago who had a 2-year-old that had a tumor the size of a hot dog along the backbone and unfortunately passed. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. Like, with you were saying like you found out why you potentially got the cancer. You weren't taking care of yourself. When there's like a 2-year-old and they're just so young, that is not the case for them. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are with that.
And that is such a good question. So there are many reasons why people die, whether children, adults, pets. There are many, many reasons. So mine was unique to me, but there are a lot of people who relate to what happened to me and can say they feel they got ill because they were not loving themselves. But so many reasons. With children, also, there are multiple reasons. One is that could have been their soul's intention, just to come for a short time to accomplish or fulfill something, because even getting a tumor might have done something beautiful for the family. It might have healed the family in a different way. We don't know. But there is also other reasons, and this is one reason that I'm a little bit more careful of sharing. You remember yesterday I was telling you about how we all feel each other's energies. Sometimes when you have people, adults, who are traumatized, who are even angry with each other, it can actually impact the energy of the child. A child can feel that they are being personally attacked or they are at fault for what's happening to the adults, and they can take on that energy. Pets, it's the same with pets. They can feel it. I'm very careful how I word this because I don't want people to feel, if their child is sick, I don't want people to feel that it's their fault. It's never your fault because you're not doing it knowingly. But if people have a child who is sick, what I would strongly suggest that you do, if your child is sick, is to make sure that you tell that child that they are loved unconditionally, that that child is wanted no matter what happens between the adults. And if that child needs to understand very clearly that anything that's happening between the adults has got nothing to do with you, and we all still love you. And so, because even when adults don't fight in front of children, children can feel when adults are traumatized angry, afraid, all of these things. So please don't ever feel it's your fault if you've had a child who's sick, because also it's possible that they were only meant to come for that time. I have had people tell me that my child was only here for 2 years, but during that time they brought so much healing in so many ways, and I miss them terribly. But my life changed dramatically after they were here. And one of those people that actually said that to me was my own mom. When I was a child, I had a younger brother that was 6 years younger than me. And he died when he was 3, and I was 9. And I remember many years later, my mom telling me that my younger brother was such a gift because my dad changed dramatically. My mom and dad never got along. But my dad changed dramatically after my brother came and left the planet. And our lives changed as a result. So maybe that was his purpose.
Time for 2 more?
Okay, 2 more.
It's just about your PowerPoint slides.
Yes.
Can we get those in that information from one of your books?
It's coming out in my next book, which I'm writing right now.
All right.
Thank you. I'm currently in the process of writing another book, and so a lot of this information is going to be in there.
Hi, Anita. As I told you yesterday, I have lymphoma like you had. And I've done everything, all these steps, the physical, the immune, the emotional, the energetic, with acupuncture, Reiki, all this. And now I am at the esoteric level.
Oh, good.
And I'm getting there. And I'd like to know what would be your recommendation to really dive into the I am that, I am one. As a practice every day, because this is my next step.
Okay, that's a good question too. So, first of all, we're going to do the journey, which will probably help you to identify that. And there's just a couple of things I want to share with you about that. So, when I came back from my near-death experience, and I was still lying in the bed, like 4 days, 5 days after the NDE. I was still very weak. And I was lying in the hospital bed, and the nurse came up and said to me, "We need to get you moving. We need to get your legs moving so that you can start walking again." So I was still very weak. So she helped me to get out of the bed. And I was walking, I was holding her with one arm, I was holding the IV stand with the other arm. And then I said, I haven't looked at myself in the mirror for a long time. Let me look at myself in the mirror. So she led me to the bathroom where the mirror was. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, first of all, I was shocked because I didn't know that I was so skinny and my head was bald and I had all these bandages on my neck and my cheeks were sunken in. So I was shocked, and I actually started crying. And then I just stared and stared at my own eyes, and I was crying, not because of vanity, but because I could see that I had done this to myself, unintentionally, but it was because I had been the one who'd forsaken myself and let myself down. So I actually looked into my own eyes that day, and I said, I promise that I will never, ever forsake you or let you down, even if other people do. I will never put you last. I will never treat you like a doormat. I will never judge you, even if everybody else does. I won't do it to you, to me. So I would say as a start, if you can make that commitment to yourself, catch yourself if you're judging yourself. Catch yourself if you're beating yourself up. If you're constantly, negating like, oh, no, I'm not good enough. Catch that and say, no, I am. Why not? If they can do it, so can I. So that was the one thing. And when people make you feel bad, don't buy into it. Just say, no, that's who I am. And if you shrug it off, they'll laugh as well. They'll be fine. So it's been much easier to even be okay with my flaws. Like I admit freely what my weaknesses are, what my shortcomings are. I just admit it freely. You have to love yourself enough to do that and not hide them and not think people are going to think less of you. So that's one. And the other thing I want to just share with you before we go into the journey is, I don't know, I know most of you probably heard of an architect, an artist, sculptor named Michelangelo. He used to carve these beautiful statues made of angels, right? Statues of angels made of marble. And he would just carve and carve, and then, and there would be an angel. And one day somebody asked him, how are you able to carve these intricate, detailed statues of angels with no plans or anything? And he said, the angel is already there. It's always there. In every rock there's an angel. I just chip away and set the angel free. That's what you are, every single one of you. You are a pure soul inside. Just chip away at what is not you and set that angel free. Set your soul free. Most of us believe that we have to control ourselves. We're sending ourselves the message that we are innately bad or wrong. So I have to change. I have to be someone else. No. Let go of all of that. Set yourself free. So, thank you. Thank you. So, are you ready for the journey? Yes. By the way, I got cheated out of 15 minutes in the beginning. We started at 2:15. I know, you've been great. It's not your fault. You're just doing what you're told. Okay, thank you. I just realized I got cheated out of 15 minutes. Oh, thank you. So get really comfortable. You're welcome to lay down. So put your feet firmly on the ground, but just make sure you're comfortable. If you're lying down, that's fine. Get yourself super relaxed. I'd like you to take 3 deep breaths in and out. In and out. In and out. Now, I would like you to feel any tension Particularly check your jaw area and your forehead. Unfurl your brow. Work your way down to your neck, your shoulders, and down your back. Feel any tension just melt away. Work your way down through your arms, your hands, and down your hips, your thighs, all the way down your legs, feeling any tension in your knees, your calves just melting away. If someone were to lift up your arm right now and let go, it would just fall right back down. You are so relaxed. You are not carrying any weight at the moment, not even your own. Now I would like you to put your focus on your heart area. And I would like you to visualize a beautiful ball of white light bathing your heart area, filling your whole chest cavity. It's so bright and beautiful. And it is bathing your heart, your lungs. It's filling the whole chest area. See that light expanding. Getting bigger and bigger so that it's now bigger than your body, so that it's framing your body. Your body is now within this big ball of light. See it getting even bigger. Allow it to get as big as it wishes. It could be as big as this hall, or even bigger, as big as the ashram. It still maintains the beautiful brightness, and you are at the center of it. Your physical body is there at the center of it. This beautiful ball of light is your life force energy, your soul. This is the part of you that has always lived and will always live. I would like you to see this beautiful ball of energy now rising upwards. As it rises up, it leaves your physical body behind here in this room as this beautiful big ball of white light starts to rise up. It is connected to you, your physical body, by a silver string. That string has unlimited length. you are aware your physical body is here, lying down or sitting down, as your soul travels upwards. As you look back, you can see this ashram getting smaller and smaller in the distance. You can see this island and the group of islands getting further and further away as you make your way up through the ethers, through the galaxy. You are going past nebula and stars and planets. But you feel guided. You're not afraid. And you know you can always go back to your body because you're still connected by this beautiful silver string. As you keep moving past the planets, you come to an area where it feels foggy. It's as though your vision is now starting to get a little cloudy, and you realize you are going through like a thick fog. But you keep moving forward through the thick fog. And as you keep moving forward, it starts to get thinner. The fog is thinner. It's clearing. It's like you are coming out the other side of a thick cloud. And as it gets thinner and thinner and you come out the other side, you are greeted by a most beautiful being. This being is big and tall and bright and incredibly beautiful. The features of this being are so beautiful, and it shines, and you are looking at this being in awe, and you are taking it in. It is a spiritual being, so you may not be able to make out a gender, but its beauty is just holding you. It's holding your attention. And the being says, I'm here to guide you and help you through the next stages of your life. Feel yourself feeling elated and relieved at the same time. Now I would like you to ask the being if there's anything specific that you are going through in your life right now. Ask the being, what are the next steps that I could be doing to help myself through this situation? What are the next steps that I should be taking to help me through this situation. And I want you to listen, and I want you to trust what the being says. And remember, the being will only give you ideas, solutions, suggestions that feel very uplifting and comforting and positive to you. The being will not give you something scary. The being will give you some guiding words, and I'd like you to trust them. They will guide you as to which direction to go, what next step to take. And I will be quiet for 1 minute, and I would like you to listen as to what comes through for you. future in front of you. And it is a beautiful future where you feel fulfilled and joy-filled. You are feeling amazing. I would like you to capture that image of that future. Who are you with? Who is there with you? What are you doing? What are you feeling? Capture that feeling right now. Feel it in your heart. Feel yourself fulfilling your dream future. The being is now saying to you, this is your future. This is your birthright. This is the reason you came here on this planet, to fulfill this. You need to know this, remember this. And I also want you to know that I am here. I am always here for you. You can turn to me and ask me for questions or assurance any time at all. But remember, your soul came here for a reason. You are here for a reason. You are meant to be here. Hold this vision of who you really are when you are being truly fulfilled. Hold it in your heart and live it as though it's happening now, because it is yours now. You don't have to wait. There is no time. Time is an illusion. Live as though this has already manifested. And with that, the being gives you an embrace and tells you it's time for you to start to make your way back to your body so you can live your life. And as you are turning to go back, you turn back once more to look at the being and you say, by the way, who are you? And the being says, I am your future self. I am you, calling you to the future that you are meant to live. I'm here to help you to stay on the path that you chose before you came here. And with that, you feel yourself lighting up and you feel complete and you are ready to turn and start making your way down through the cloud, through the mist, coming out the other side, and down through the ethers, past the planets, past the nebula, past the sun. And now you can see in the distance planet Earth getting closer and closer. And you can see the Bahamas, and you're getting closer to Nassau. And you can see the ashram, and this big, beautiful ball of light that is you starts to come back down for your love, for your energy. You are all so beautiful. You really are. Thank you. Thank you. I wish we could have laid in that space for longer.
Thank you so much, Anita Moorjani. Thank you, and another big round of applause for Anita.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I know some of you said you have books you want me to sign. Just catch me when you see me with your book, and I'm happy for you to stop me and have me sign. It's no problem at all.
All right, so we'll wrap this up quickly because it's 4 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock, and there's yoga classes starting, and there's the ocean starting. So, so yeah, we have 4 o'clock yoga class, beginners on the Bay West platform, intermediate on the beach platform at 5:45. We have dinner, yum. 7 p.m. the Gita Parayana. And then at 8 p.m., evening satsang featuring William Peters and Monica Williams. So we'll close out with 3 ohms and a short version of the closing. Om. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om Bolo Satguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Om Namah Shivaya. If we could have some help with putting away the chairs and such, that'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.